Hi there, my name is Erik and I play bass, and today we are checking out the Darkglass X900. So before we get started with this video, full disclaimer, Darkglass did send me this amp to demo and feature here on my YouTube channel. However, I'm not getting paid to say anything nice about it. I'm gonna leave my thoughts on this amp for later on in the video. If you're curious about those, use the time codes, timestamps, here in the video description and head to those if you're curious about that. I'm using my Yamaha Attitude Limited 3 with relentless pickups going straight into the unit. I'm just using the precision style pickup right now. So everything about this X900 that we got here is stock. I haven't connected it to the Darkglass suite and, tweaked the compression or added different IRs. Everything is as it was when it came from the factory. I used the third IR, I think, on the recording that you just heard. That was my bass, this very bass, going straight into this amp, into Logic through my SSL2 Plus. The only thing that I added was a bit of compression in post to bump up the volume a wee bit. Other than that, there was pretty much no post-processing being done to the signal. I think I might have done just a slight low cut. But other than that, there was no studio magic going on. It was just the amp. The only thing that I had going was the NSG noise gate in the effects loop, just for good measure. So the X900 amp is a long-awaited feature from Darkglass Electronics. It is the latest addition to their 900 watt amp series, in which you have the Microtubes 900 version 2 and the Alpha Omega 900. This one features the X circuit, which means that it has a crossover. And what is a crossover? Well, easily explained, it allows you to choose which band is being affected by compression, and a crossover allows you to, neglect certain frequencies when it comes to the distortion or the low-end compression. And it also has a mix knob, which allows you to go between the two, and tons of cool features on this amp. So here's what my bass sounds like straight into the unit. No post-processing, no IR engaged whatsoever. Here's what it sounds like. Here's the clean tone. And as you can hear, there's a bit of clipping there, and that is why we have this nice switch, the active-passive switch. So now it is set for active. So here's what my bass sounds like now. Much better, right? So EQ wise, you got a 6-band EQ, you got a shelving bass control, you got 250 Hz, you got it controlled at 500 Hz, 1500 Hz, 3000 Hz, and a shelving treble control, which is also located at 3000 Hz. So let's go through the different EQ bands so you can hear what they sound like as well. So flat. There we go. I figured it might be interesting to, combine the high shelf and the 3K control, as they are both, located at the same band, and yet they are not. You get my point, I hope. Anyways, that was the clean EQ section. So, like I said, this amp has quite a few features. And we're going to start off with the compressor. So the compressor in this unit is a bit different from the one that you have in the Alpha Omega 900. As you can hear, also set the level off the compression. So by clicking this little button here, we've engaged the compressor, and this little light here will light up when the compressor is being engaged. So let's turn the compression knob here, shall we? And down here you got a volume control for the compressed signal. So, you know, the more you compress, the more you need to, you know, compensate with the volume knob. Let's leave the run there and just maybe a bit more. So now let's head into the X territory, shall we? So by clicking this little button here, the lights turn red and we're in Distortion City, but it's all quiet right now. And why is that? Well, few things. The level knob is set for 0. And as you can hear now, it's only some low end rattle. And that is controlled by this one. So you adjust where the clean lows are gonna sit. It's a good thing, I reckon, to go between the two modes once you've find your tone to, you know, match them volume wise using the level knob, so that your distorted signal isn't, you know, way too hot compared to the clean one, or vice versa, you know. But yeah, this one controls the low pass filter. So here it's just I know that there's one guy out there who's watching this on the loo and who didn't hear anything when the low pass was set there because he was watching on his phone. The mix control goes between the clean signal and the distorted signal, which we got here. And as you can hear now, the distorted signal is pretty extensive is not the right word, but you know, it's over a pretty broad band. And that is controlled with this one. So if you leave it up there, it's only the top notes, or top frequencies I should say, and down here pretty self-explanatory, I guess. 12 o'clock. let's do like this. Oh, and here is where you adjust the amount of drive, because it says drive, so the amount of distortion. And then using the mix knob. You can combine the two. So that's the X section, if you will. Then, of course, you've got the 6-band EQ that you can use to shape your tone even further. On the back panel of the unit, you've got your effects loop, you got 2 speak-on outputs, you got a foot switch input in which you can use the foot switch that accompanies the unit, or you can use the super intelligent foot switch that I got a few years back, which works wonders with this unit. And by using the foot switch, you can of course go between a clean and your more distorted tone any time you like. So what we're gonna do now is that I'm gonna dial in a tone that I enjoy myself, and I'm gonna engage one of the high R's. So let's you got a little button here. Here we go. So I think we got something here. It's not super distorted. I mean, when you got the compressor engaged, you can actually allow yourself to disengage the active passive switch. As the compressor does a mighty fine job with taming the transients. And as you can see, it lights up. Sooner. So yeah, there you have it. That's the X900. We're gonna touch upon the effects loop just briefly, because when I got into, using amps and stuff, I never thought I'd do stuff with an effects loop, but turns out it's actually pretty fun. So right now we got the NSG noise gate there. I just engaged it and these pickups are pretty quiet, but it actually does something. We've also got the Ampeg liquefier chorus there. Which is fun. Having a chorus in the effects loop is actually pretty tasty. We got the slur from Walrus Audio and the flashback looper from TC Electronic. So yeah, it's got an effects loop, and that is really cool and fun. So a few thoughts on the X900 now before we wrap this video up. This amp has been expected and awaited and all of that good stuff for many years. People have been asking for it in comment sections on Instagram and the way that things are these modern days. And it is exactly what you want. I've tried the small X pedal, the X7, the X Ultra, the crossover distortion that is in both the Alpha Omega Photon and the Darkglass Infinity, Microtubes Infinity, I should say, and it totally holds up to those pedals and even stands its own ground. It's got 900 powerful Class D watts. I've gigged with both the M900, the version 1.1, and the Alpha Omega 900, and I've never had a problem being heard on a loud stage, especially if you got like an 810 or something tasty like that. It's pretty easy to dial in a tone that you enjoy using this amp. It's got a headphone output, so you can, of course, play silently if you want to do that. You don't need to hook it up to a cabinet as you would with a tube amp. There are no tubes in this one to, damage and break. There are a few things that I would have loved to have seen in this amp. The first one is Bluetooth, and that sounds silly, but I've really grown to enjoy the E500 and the element pedal and the Bluetooth capabilities of those, and as well as, you know, the Atom and the Alpha Mega Photon and the Microtubes Infinity. All of those have Bluetooth, which means that you can pair them with your phone and play along to songs. And that sounds, you know, a bit silly, I guess, but finding a cable and you know, the adapter for your iPhone and all of that, I mean, it would have been nice to have Bluetooth in this amp as well, as it's really useful for, you know, when you're practicing along to songs and stuff like that. A second thing, which is more about me, I guess, is programmability to, you know, dial in, say, 3 presets, you know, a clean tone, a distorted tone, and perhaps a fuzzy tone, if you will, you know, leaving the high pass filter way down to give more of a, you know, almost fuzz type, you know. Especially with, you know, a crank. You know, to have the option to go between that and, say, something like this. With just the press of your foot switch would have been a really nice and neat feature to have. Again, I totally understand why it's not available, as there are other Darkglass pedals that can do stuff like that, like the dual fuzz engine and stuff like that. So totally get it. It's just my opinion. Overall, I'm really impressed and happy with this amp. I can totally see myself gigging with this in, you know, both using it just for the clean tone, which is actually pretty darn neat, if I may say so myself. And, you know, the distorted tone. You know, dialing the drive back. Doesn't make it, you know, overwhelming or anything like that. It's actually a pretty nice and subtle breakup that cleans up nicely if you play a bit lighter. So anyways, there you have it. That's the Darkglass X900 amp. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. My name is Erik and I play bass, and I'm gonna show you this amp even further in future videos, hooking up to the pedal board that I put together for it, as it takes pedals really well. I should have said that earlier. Anyways, my name is Erik, I play bass. Hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I'll see you guys and gals and cats and dogs in the next video. Until next time, take care. Bye!